Hello Internet. This video today is going to be about climbing Mount Everest and how processing and commercializing an invention is kind of like an Everest climb. And oh, by the way, also this video is going to be partly about figuring out the quality and effectiveness of this microphone, this USB mic. Okay, I'm going to start out with the principle that it's not necessarily a failure to not get to the top of Everest. And it's also not necessarily a failure to have an invention, file some papers, either patents or LLCs or trademark or something, and then partway through realize this just ain't for me. This just ain't going to work. And a key principle that's going to come up over and over again in the next 5 minutes is bet the car, not the house. And I'll just start with the punchline. I've had several inventors bet the house and lose everything. And I tried to talk them out of it. I tried to tell them, I don't think there's the audience for this. I don't think you have the right resources to access the marketplace. I don't think you have the right infrastructure to properly get enough of a retail and distribution mechanism to make your money back. Now, for whatever reason, my reasons or others, they ended up losing everything they put in. And they bet the house, not just the car. They doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down, and bet the entire house. Okay, folks, I hope the microphone transition has gone well. I'll find out and we'll do some audio testing. The reason I brought you here is one of the big themes of this video today is bet the car, not the house. And I really would be in favor of you not even betting the car. But hopefully this picture shows up well enough on your video that you can see that this person taking the photograph is trying to get to here on Everest, way up here to summit. And right now at the place the photograph is where we are, about right down here. Now how far it takes to get here, I'm really not sure. Whoops. I'm not sure how long it will be to get from here to here. I'm going to guess about, I was going to say an hour under normal conditions, maybe an hour and a half, and at most in altitude about 500 feet. Although the length walking along that ridge, I don't know how much it might be. It might be 2,000 feet. But if you look closer, I got to zoom in. Hopefully this will let me zoom in without dropping the video. If you look closer at this picture, this is Everest in May of 2019. We're all really close. There's the summit right there, I guess. And we're all down here. Look at how many people are in between you and getting up there. And all of these people have to come back. They have to descend right the same way as where all of the ascenders are. And they got to walk back. No wonder in May of 2019, so many people died on Everest. Because Everest is becoming kind of like a commercial event and with tourism and things like that. And it's too crowded during the very limited months of the year where somebody can scale it. I'm comparing getting your invention sold, embodied, commercialized, and actually cash flowing and making money, kind of like an Everest trip. And again, also returning to the theme of bet the car, not the house. Let's zoom out all the way to the natural view. I'd rather be here, yeah. Folks, if you're here and it's after 2:30 or 3 o'clock or even 3:30 in the afternoon on the key day on May 10th, even with this nice clear weather, and you're past your turnaround time already, and you got to get all the way up here to summit, you might not get there till 4 o'clock, and then you got to come all the way back down, mostly in the dark. I'm not buying it. I don't think that's a risk you want to take. True, you can say you summited, or rather, your family can say you summited at your funeral. I'm not buying it. I don't think that's worth it. There's a number of people that got to this point, saw the ridiculous crowd, saw how difficult it would be to pass everybody on that narrow trail, and just basically said, F this. I'm going to buy a patch or a t-shirt or something that says, I got within 500 meters of the summit. I didn't summit.
or whatever consolation prize there is. And I know it hurts, and I know a lot of people think if I got this far, I should get the rest of the way. Why? So you can die? You bet the house, not the car? What happens if you lose? You bet your life. If you get up there for the ego of saying you summited and then you don't make it back down, I don't consider summiting to be of a very big accomplishment. You died on Everest, and 2019 was a year where there a lot of people died on Everest. Now moving it back to inventions. The principle I want to talk about is betting the car, not the house. And like Everest, knowing when to admit this has gone far enough and it's time to turn back. I'm going to stop for a second because I got a pictorial I want to use to illustrate this for a particular inventor I know, and we're just going to call him Ocala Man. And he's got a friend we're going to call David Crosby. And I'm going to illustrate for you guys that it might not be a bad idea for him to turn back now, rather than go against all odds to race to the summit and not make it back down and lose everything. Again, don't bet your life. It doesn't do any good to summit if you die on the way down. It doesn't do any good to bet the house if you don't succeed in commercializing invention. Then where are you? If you bet the car, it didn't work, things were going kind of rough, kind of, doggone it, I needed more capital than I thought. I needed better resources than what I had. It took me too long to get my molds built. They cost too much. And then the prices went up. Now we got tariffs for China manufacturer. The market went against me. I never found the audience that I really needed to distribute and scale in high volume. Da 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 da. There's a million different reasons why. There's plenty of excuses too, but I just gave reasons. But my point is, if you bet the car and you see that the only possible way is to double and triple down on your investment, then I'm sorry. As counsel for the plaintiff, for the inventor, for the LLC trying to produce the invention, my advice is going to be admit you made a mistake and quit. You bet the car, you lost the car, but you still got your house. And using the Everest comparison, you still got your life. You turned around at 500 meters or 1,000 or 2,000 meters and realized I can never get through all this and get back while it's still light out. I'm going to die up here. It's not my fault. I'm a good climber. I did what I was supposed to do, but it's so congested and there's so much Everest tourism that it's well near to impossible these days. Piss on it. I'm going home. I bet the car, I lost. I don't have the car. I can get another car. A lot of people can't get another house. If you bet your house, you've really bet everything. Now I'm going to move over to a pictorial. Folks, I've been in touch with an inventor who recently went to a pretty big trade show, really learned a lot, found out a lot of things about what he needs to do, and had a fixed amount of money in mind that he's spent so far, and I think has a pretty good idea of how much he's willing to spend. What he thought was after this trade show that he'd be able to get some kind of a licensing arrangement or something like that. So having him in mind, we'll call him Ocala Man, that I drew up a little mini chart of invention money line, how much it costs to get an invention to at least be in a position to be successful, to be at least considered as possibly something customers would want. Not necessarily success, that's a misleading single word I put there, but to be in a position where you can gauge potential for success. Now, Ocala Man had spent a considerable amount of money, and he thought he was well on the line to being close over here. But after the trade show, he found out he's right about in here, which means he's going to have to spend a lot more in this range here to get all the way over. He's probably going to have to spend more than he's already spent, and that's just to get where he can have an idea of whether he can be successful or not. My thought is he got this far to here. I'll thicken that line. And it hurts to say this, and he's not going to like this, hearing this, but this is for all my inventors. This is for anybody watching this YouTube video. So I'm not going to say this guy's name. We'll just call him Ocala Man. He found out he's only about here along the line of expenditures to even get where he finds out where the invention is going to be successful. My thought is here is about what he would spend to bet the car on his invention. And now he realizes to get all the way over here is more like betting the house. And I will just tell El Calaman and I'll tell the rest of you, don't do it. I don't care what your invention is, how good it is, and I definitely don't care how much you believe in it. The only criteria I go by is what do customers think? How many have they bought? In what flavors, shapes, sizes, and colors? And where from? And what was your retail channel? And what was your distribution channel? Now you can bet the car to find and get that information, but any inventor of mine, I am against when they bet the house. I'm going to make this real big. I'm going to say something pretty unpleasant. And then I'm going to repeat this a little larger this time. My issue is with inventors who don't know what they're betting. And number two, are too stubborn. And number three, try to double down. They got here and they start to look at it. Wow, I've already invested this much. Better put it the rest of the way. Well, there's a guy named David Crosby. We're going to call David Crosby, not his real name, who found out and has told any number of people, including me, I would give anything if someone would have found me here at this point and said, you got to stop. You can't afford to bet anymore. It's not going to work. Just let's admit that you don't have the resources. You're undercapitalized. You're not going to be able to get this the rest of the way. Stop right here. He doubled down over here, and he did not meet with success. He got nothing, and he lost his house. I'm against that, but I'm also going to be a little rude on one thing. As counsel, if you're so insistent and so in love with your invention that you absolutely will not listen to reason, and you continue and insist on spending more money on patents and trademarks and LLCs and other types of support documents and things to help bring the invention along, I'm going to object 3 different times, approximately 5 days apart, and say, I really think this is not a good use of your money. I'm not sure you should do this. Please reconsider. I hate to take your money. I'll object 3 times. On the 4th time, if the person is still adamant, I'm going to take their money. And when they bet the house and they lose, I'm not giving any of the money back. I'm a businessman. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell other of my inventors, and I have had inventors lose their house. And I tried to tell them. But after a certain point, I can tell they're just tuning me out and treating my voice like Charlie Brown noise. Now, Ocala guy, I know you got something. I know that your invention has merit. I know there's an audience for it. But it's just going to cost maybe more than what your resources can handle to get it to the point where we can really prove out that market interest and the level of retail and distribution enough to really scale up and profit and prove out that interest and get product in the hands of the interested parties. That's hard. I consider that a much harder task than inventing. It's proving out the audience and getting the product into their hands. Marky Zuckerberg was really good at that. David Crosby, not your real name, I'm sorry to say you weren't really good at that. It's not that your invention was bad, but you'd misassessed your audience. And Ocala guy, I'm still not sure. You may be in the end successful, but I know you got a hard hit in the gut coming off that trade show. You thought you had spent enough to get you around here, and now you realize you're barely a third of the way in terms of budget and expenditures. I want to tell you, and I want to tell all of my inventors, if at this point you decide, I can't take it anymore, I learned a lot, it was a useful experience, I made some bets, I bet the car, crap, it hurts to admit it, I'm going to have to get another car, but I'm going to go on with my life, and I learned a lot, and, maybe I'll try again some other day when I've got better resources and better access to the marketplace. And after all, I only bet the car, I still got my house. If we look at David Crosby, not his real name, he would say, I wish anybody on earth would have stopped me right here. Folks, it's a tough lesson. You inventors out there, just know, bet the car, not the house. And I'm going to tell you again, and I'm going to tell you one more time. And if after that you insist on spending money, I'm going to take it. And the reason why is because if I say no and object on moral grounds, you'll just give it to some other attorney. And I did all the work to advance you this far. Why shouldn't I go ahead and continue to get some revenue from it? I'm running a business. And also, I make sure that my objections to inventors going forward when they shouldn't, I make sure to get it on the record in writing, in emails and in mailed letters and potentially registered letters. Or at least letters sent using express mail. Under no circumstances is anybody going to say, I didn't try to warn you. Because I'm a businessman and I run into this a lot and I'm tired of it. I want inventors who have a good idea of the marketplace and know where they sit on this invention money line right from the first get-go. But the vast majority of my clientele do not know that ahead of time. And I'm scared and I'm concerned. Sometimes they never learn it. I got to edit this down. This video is too long and it's too emotional. But this is a big part of my practice for 22 years. And, I'm trying to send these videos to people ahead of time so they can't act surprised. They don't read my emails, so I send it to them in the form of a pictorial video. Hopefully they'll watch that. Folks, have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for watching. Let me know any other topics you want me to discuss. This YouTube channel is to help you. This is for information. I want to hear from you and I want to know what things are on your mind.